Hi everyone, Sal Khan here, and you can view this as the part 2 to the video that I made a few days ago about the whole Gamestop situation with Robinhood and the short squeeze and all of that. And when I made that video, the one thing that was not clear to me was why Robinhood kept people from buying shares of GameStop. And a lot of people have pointed fingers at that, including politicians saying, hey, maybe there's some ulterior motive here, some conflict of interest. It at least had the appearance of being shady. And I also did not know why that happened. But since then, it's become pretty clear why Robinhood not only decided to do that, but had to do that. So it really, the shadiness is gone. It's pretty clear why they did it, and it wasn't due to an ulterior motive. It turns out that they needed to do it just to keep trading. And the way it works, a lot of us imagine that when you go on to an exchange and you find someone who's willing to buy or sell a stock, that immediately the stock and the money trades hands. But when you really think about it, you can imagine that that is very, very impractical. On a given market, in a given stock, you could have thousands of transactions in a second even. And so if every one of those you had to wire transfer money and then transfer the stock ownership somehow, thousands of times a second, very, very impractical. There's also the question of when you are trading on any exchange, you need to know that the other party is good for what they're going to do. So if you are buying a stock for a certain amount of money, they need to know that you're good for the money, and you need to know that they're good for the stock. And so the way that both of these problems get solved for is through something called clearinghouses. And clearinghouses, let's say your brokerage, let's say it's Robinhood, they participate with a clearinghouse. And instead of the brokers transferring money and stock directly to each other thousands of times a second even, or especially in a day, it could be millions of times, you have this middle party. And what the middle party says is, all right, y'all have agreed to exchange that stock for a given price. If you are the buyer of the stock, or if you are the brokerage that represents the buyer of the stock, then the exchange says, all right, consider that you've got the stock for that price, but we're going to true up at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, when all the transactions have been netted out, if there's some net money that you owe other people, you are going to give that money to us. If there's some net stock that you owe other people, you need to give that net stock to us, and we're going to take the other side of that. So if there's net stock that you owe us at the end of the day, we're going to give you the net money for that stock at the agreed upon price at the end of the day. And if there's net money you owe at the end of the day, we're going to give you that net stock that you at the agreed upon price for that. Now, because there might be this true up at the end of the day, especially there might be some net money that the brokerage across all of its accounts owe the clearinghouse by the end of the day, they keep some collateral with the clearinghouse to make sure that they can true up. Now, you might say, hey, what's the risk here? You're having thousands of transactions. Surely, if a trade happens at a certain price, say at 10 a.m., it's only a few hours until the markets close. And even then, there could still be a significant true up depending on what happens. And so that's why there is some collateral with the clearinghouse. But you can imagine a situation where a lot of people, let's say through Robinhood, were trying to buy GameStop. First of all, there's a lot of this buying. So at the end of the day, the true up would be a lot of net cash going from Robinhood and its clients to the clearinghouse that have to happen at the end of the day. And so that is something that the clearinghouse has to say, okay, I hope that money is going to come our way. And if you think about it, that at the same time that that's happening, that position is being built in a stock that is very risky, that is unusually volatile. As we know, this is a stock that has gone from 100 to 400, back to 100 to 200, and that could even happen within hours, which is very, very unusual. And so the clearinghouses were telling Robinhood, hey, if you want to continue to trade, period, you have to put up a significant amount of more money. It was over $1 billion just to keep functioning that day, just to keep trading. And so that's why Robinhood did two things. They got a capital infusion so that they can provide that capital to the clearinghouses so they could keep trading. And they also said, hey, we can't just allow people to buy willy-nilly because we just don't have the capital to continue trading because of what the clearinghouses were expecting of them. So this really was an act of necessity, and it wasn't something that was driven by some other motive as far as I can understand. So that's my best understanding of why that happened. But once again, I'm happy to answer any questions that folks have in the message boards below. Thanks, everyone.